I think that those of us at the leading edge, those of us who have received this gift of this very high level of education and wealth and good fortune, we have the freedom to think freely in ways that human beings rarely have had throughout history, the gift of education, the freedom of movement. We're the luckiest, right? The level, the standard of living that we're used to, kings and queens could have never dreamed of, right? We are the luckiest people that have ever been born. So, right? So I know it hasn't been a perfectly, nick-free ride, and there are a few bumps and bruises or maybe some deep wounds, okay? But so what? Suck it up. Because there's the Universe Project, which is when God took that deep breath and said, I think I'm going to try and do the most audacious thing possible, which is to create a material universe in my own image, in the image of being consciousness. That's the Universe Project. So the authentic self, which is only interested in the Universe Project and not interested in anybody's personal problems, including your own, by the way. The authentic self in me is not interested in my personal problems, right? Interestingly enough, it doesn't see them. It's not a personal thing. That part of you and that part of me is inherently free from the very beginning and inherently whole, ecstatically free. And when you awaken to that part of yourself, there's this profound existential resolution with being here, with life. You see? So the fundamental question of who am I, consciousness, why am I here to create the universe? You know that beyond the mind. You know it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true at all times, in all places, through all circumstances. You don't have any doubt about it. You know who you are. So the fundamental existential question, moral, ethical, philosophical, and spiritual raison d'etre, reason for being, has been answered beyond any doubt. You know it. How many people can you point to that have really know the answer to that question in a post-traditional, postmodern, deeply sane, integrated context? Very few people. Now, from the perspective of the evolution of the universe, the creation of the universe, and the evolution of consciousness, the urgency is that it really does depend on you and me now, and that's the thing. If you want to know how to go beyond ego, look into the question of now. Are you willing to drop it all now? Are you willing to get real now? Are you willing to be that accountable now? It means if God calls it, and you have to be ready to take it all on. That's what God said, right? Because the way everybody thinks, well, God's going to save me. He, she, or it is going to help me, save me, set me free from my problems, my worries, my traumas. But it's not the other way. It's actually when you evolve to a cosmocentric perspective, it doesn't work that way. What we're calling God is totally dependent upon individuals who are willing to be accountable and willing to be ready. So the whole paradigm shifts. See? So what we're calling God, it means it's an absolute expectation. Are you willing to meet it? Oh no, I'm not ready yet. Well then, okay, how much more time do you need? You see, you get the idea? And so then the evolutionary tension is incredible, is in that. But then you say yes, that's when the fireworks begin. You see? Because that's non-duality. That's when God and man, there's a merging then. And that's this very powerful non-duality. It's literally sparks start flying. You see? And then the personal doesn't mean it's over, but it moves over to the side. Something else comes into the center stage. You see? And then you start vibrating at a totally different frequency than other people. Huh? You really do. You start vibrating at a totally different frequency. Your reason for being here is completely different. But most fundamentally, you're not playing games anymore. It's not a game for you. This is not a game, right? It doesn't mean you don't suffer. It doesn't mean you don't care about relative things and personal things, but you're really here for the deepest reasons. You know it. You're not deluded, hopefully. But you see my point? So there's a kind of a deadly seriousness, deadly kind of level of sincerity about life, right? About being here, about what it means to be here. You see? And then you want to try and find other people that have awakened in this way, and then you can really do something. And then from that perspective, what samsara is, the world of illusion, is all people haven't woken up yet, who are still lost in the personal, who are still playing games, who still want to get enlightened for their own sake. Who cares about personal enlightenment? They want their own samadhi. Well, good. And then what are you going to do with it? It's useless. We have to create the future together. That's the whole point. Okay, everybody, thank you.